Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, where we like to just talk about what's on the other side of fear and encouraging people to go for their goals, go for their dreams, and realizing that once you stop fearing whatever it is and getting out of your comfort zone, and man, there's so much room to grow. And there's beauty in trying new things and just facing your fears. On today's podcast, the main topics are going to be patience and the main topics are going to be patience and realizing that happiness and peace are inside jobs, meaning that they start with you. Um, and that's something that I don't think a lot of people realize. Like for me, I can't stand hearing people say, I need this person to be my peace. I need you to be my peace. And that to me has, even from the moment that I first heard it, was always a ridiculous statement, especially if it was directed towards me. Like, I can't be your peace. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially back then when I first heard someone directed towards me. I don't even have peace. So how can I be your peace when I can't even be my own peace? And I don't think that people realize like how much weight that is on, or could be on somebody when you tell somebody like, you got to be my source of peace. You have to be peace for me. And you don't, especially if you don't even know what that person's going through. That person might be going through a war inside their head, but yet you want them to be your peace. You want them to be the thing that brings you peace or brings you happiness. Like, that's so unrealistic to me, because man, it wouldn't matter even if they did. So let's just say that that person did bring you some type of peace or brought peace into your life. What happens when they, if they were to go away, if they were to leave, if y'all were to break up, whatever the case is? Now what? Now what happens to your peace? It just goes away. And to me, that's a scary, scary thought. So like, peace and happiness start with you. You have to be happy with yourself before you can be happy in a relationship, before you can be happy with someone else, before you can be happy, you know what I'm saying, before your life can get to those happy moments. You, it has to start with you. It doesn't start with the things that you can buy. You know, it doesn't start with the house, it doesn't start with the car, it doesn't even start with the kids, as crazy as that may sound. You have to be your own happiness, you have to be your own peace. And then yeah, those things can add to it, those things can help elevate it for sure. But if you're telling me that you're relying on all of these things to bring you happiness and to bring you peace, that lets me know that it's not real. You know, because once those things are gone, there is no more happiness, there is no more peace. Real happiness and real peace, in my opinion, comes when you can take all of those things away, take away, you know, the love of your life and all that stuff, and you can still find happiness and you can still find peace within yourself and within your life when it's just you. I feel like that's where it has to start. It has to start with you, because you have to be happy with yourself. Plus, in my opinion, it'll pour out. You'll see it. You'll see when somebody isn't at peace with themselves. You'll see when someone isn't happy with themselves, because they'll start to show it. They may do their best to hide it, especially in that initial getting to meet someone phase. You know, everybody puts their best foot forward and presents themselves in the best light. You know, nobody shows them true selves in the beginning. So in the beginning part, yes, you're going to put your best foot forward. You're going to smile and be happy and, oh, I love myself, and oh, I'm so at peace and all of this. And then like, once you start to let your guard down, once you start to get comfortable and you start to let your guard down a little bit, then you start to see those little chinks in the armor. Like, okay, now this person really isn't that happy with themselves. This person really isn't at peace. And you know, it'll start to trickle into your relationship and everything like that. So you have to be happy with yourself and you have to find peace with yourself. It always starts with you, because until that happens, nobody else can do anything for you, because I can't be at 100% for someone else all the time because I'm not 100% for myself all the time. So it's unrealistic for anyone to expect me to be peace for them at all times or happiness for them at all times when I'm not happy, when I'm not at peace with myself. Some of the times when I'm not happy with myself, some of the times it's an unrealistic goal. So you have to be at peace with yourself. So to anyone listening and you're asking someone else to be your peace, or you're asking someone else to be your happiness, like that's just, you're asking for something that's so unrealistic. And even if somebody has been doing it up to this point, I'm telling you, they're under a lot of pressure, because what you're telling them is, okay, even when you're having a bad day, or even when you don't have 100% to give, you need to go find it. You need to ignore the fact that you've been having a bad day when you come in this house, and you need to just automatically, magically recharge your battery, recharge your energy, get your happiness to 100% so that you can give it to me. And to me, that's so unrealistic and so selfish. But people may not see it that way. People may see it like, well, this person has been doing that, so I don't feel like I'm asking for too much. And to your point, to your credit, you have a good point. So this message isn't just for the people asking for other people to be their happiness. It's also a message to the person who's being asked. Like, it's okay to be like, I just don't have it today. Or that's just not realistic. I don't have it to give to myself, so how could I possibly have it to give to you? It's okay to say those things, but you have to have those conversations. We have to have the uncomfortable conversations, because we got to be able to keep it real in the relationship. There's no point in doing all this faking and all this manipulating in the relationship, because if that's just not you, that's just not you. If you're working twice as hard to just try to keep the other person's happiness and peace levels at a bare minimum, and you're driving yourself crazy, it's okay to bring that up. That's honestly, that's something that you should do in the beginning, because if it's something that you've been doing for years, but it's something you've been feeling and now you want to bring it up out of nowhere, then yeah, that's hard, because now you've gotten them used to that type of lifestyle. You've gotten them used to, okay, my person is always on 100 to make sure I have enough to fill my cup up, to fill me up the rest of the way. And you've barely been dying slowly on the inside because of it. So now it's like, you got to have those conversations. But I feel like those are conversations that you need to have in the in the beginning, to, so that you set the table for down the road. And I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't have days, or you can't have moments where, okay, I need to pick up the energy, I need to carry it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, in moments, in times, especially if your partner just lost somebody, yes, you do need to carry, you do need to pick up, yes, I get it. Those are moments, those are times in life. I'm just saying it can't be every single day. It can't be when I'm not around you. You don't find nothing about yourself. There's nothing about you that you find happy within yourself. There's nothing in you that brings you peace. There's nothing in you that brings you happiness when I'm not around. I can't be the sole reason, or you can't be the sole reason that someone is happy or that someone is at peace. Those things right there are a recipe for disaster. So it always starts inside. So even if it's just, man, just telling yourself you love yourself, you are enough. Like those, even if it's just chanting those little words of encouragement every single day, just start building your self-confidence and your self-worth up, because it starts with you. No one can do that for you. That's an inside job. That's something that you have to start knowing. You are enough. You are worth it, because you are. That doesn't mean that you're perfect. That doesn't mean that you don't need to continue working on yourself and getting better and improving. It just means that you are enough. You can look in the mirror and be okay. Oh, for example, for me, I can look in the mirror and not like the fact that I'm the size that I am. I have to start working. I have to start working out to improve my health, to improve, my physical physique, things like that. But I can also look at myself and be like, you know what? You're enough. You're worth being loved. You're worth being cared about. You are a good friend. You are a good person. So I'm not saying so. There's a difference between me saying you're enough. Okay, you're enough. You're a finished product. You don't need to work anymore. And me saying you're enough, but hey, you still can improve. You know what I'm saying? So there's the difference between those two things. But definitely, man, like I've been saying, and like people have been telling me, though, it does start with you. So how you feel about yourself is the baseline, is the complete baseline for all of these things. You have to love yourself before anybody else can love you, because you got to know how to love you. You got to be able to tell people how to love you. You have to be able to instruct people on what your love language is, what you feel love is, what makes you feel love. So you have to love yourself first. You have to believe in yourself before someone else will believe in you. So it always starts with you. So you know what I'm saying, before you go start that business, or you know what I'm saying, or before you bring somebody into your business, you got to believe in yourself. Because if you bring somebody into a meeting and you don't believe in yourself, and you're talking to them about why they should join in, and they can see it, because again, it's going to pour out at some point, and they start to see, okay, this person don't even believe in themselves and in their dream and in their goal. So why should I invest money into them when they don't even believe in themselves? So everything starts with you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to love yourself first before someone else will believe in you, before someone else will love you. And of course, those things take time. It takes time to build that up, especially if you've coming from a relationship where you've been torn down, or a childhood where you've been torn down your whole life. So, and if you come from that, okay, it's going to take time, but you have to start. You have to at some point look in the mirror and realize, okay, me doubting and hating myself is a part of the problem. I need to do a better job of that. So it's going to take some type of accountability to get you to that point, but you have to do your part, which is starting to love on yourself, starting to take yourself seriously, do some self-love, some self-care. Go, you know what I'm saying, whatever it may be, go get your hair cut, go get your nails done, pedicure, manicure, whatever it is to help you out. Because I get it, sometimes it does start on the outside, and you gotta love. Some people have to start loving themselves on the outside before they can start loving themselves on the inside. But you have to start, but it has to start with you. You gotta find your self-love, and you know what I'm saying, and believe in yourself before the next person will. And I do get it does take time, but you have to start. But you have to start. It has to start with you. And which jumps me into my next topic, which is probably which is definitely a topic that I'm still struggling with right now, and that's patience. So we got to give ourselves and other people grace. We have to understand that, especially if it's something that we really want, something that we really desire, it's going to take time. A good relationship, a good marriage, those things take time. A successful business, those things take time. For me, a successful podcast, I know that it's going to take time. So I know that these first couple of episodes are going to be rough, because I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to take y'all feedback when y'all give it to me, other people's feedback when they give it to me, and I'm going to start incorporating it, and I'm going to find my groove. I'm going to find my formula. I'm going to find my rhythm, and I'm going to get there because I believe in myself. I believe that I'm going to, I may not hit number one, but I know that I'll have a great podcast, and I know that I'll inspire other people to go after their dreams and to stop letting fear paralyze them. And for me, cool. That's all I want, is for people to hear my message, to hear my story, to at some point be able to bring other people on so they can tell their stories of how they overcame their fear and overcame their low points and never stopped and stopped giving up on themselves and started pushing forward even through the tough and hard times. But I understand that that's what I want my finish line to be. I'm just starting this race, so I have to be patient enough to understand, okay, I don't know how far away my finish line is, but I know that it's not right now. So I have to be patient and go through the tough times, go through the learning phases or the beginning phases of this new journey that I'm on. I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting from nothing. So everything that I'm learning is all new concepts, all new terminologies for me. And it's putting me in all new positions. So I have to understand that, and I have to be willing to go through the growing pains. And that's something that I'm learning how to do. And so patience is a big part of that, because without patience, I wouldn't give myself the time and the grace to go through the learning pain. So patience is so important. Patience for yourself and patience for other people, because you have to understand that there might be somebody in your life that you want them to be where you are in life, and maybe they haven't been through what you've been through. Maybe they haven't gone through the therapy that they need to go through. Maybe they're not even ready to go through therapy. Whatever the case may be, is it's so important to be patient with people, because while people are going through things, man, they just need people there to support them. Now, supporting people and enabling them are two different things. You can be there and support them without enabling their bad habits or whatever it is that got them into the place that they're in now. So being able to toe that fine line is a tough thing, but you have to learn it with everybody, because everybody's different. Some people need a lot of tough love. Some people don't need any tough love. They just need support, because they already see, okay, I need help. I'm getting the help that I need. I just need a friend or my partner to be patient with me and just be there for me. And then you have those people who don't see that they need help, and they might need a little bit tougher love. And then in some cases, hey, you just got to kind of take your hands off, because when you try to be there and you try to be supportive, all they see is negativity. All they see is you doubting them or you hating on them or whatever the case may be. And when people get like that, well, what I do is sometimes I have to take my hands off of that situation, or just get away, take a step back from that situation, because I don't want to make things worse, because I see someone fighting the fact that they may need help, but they want to fight me on it because they don't see it, and all it's doing is tearing whatever friendship we may have left, is tearing it up. So sometimes you have to take a step back and give that person the grace and the space to go through whatever it is they need to go through, because some people do need to hit rock bottom before they realize, okay, maybe it is me. Maybe I am the one with the problem. Maybe it isn't everybody else like how I thought it was, and it is me. So, yeah, so sometimes you just have to give people that space to go through it. And as a friend, you hate to see it, especially as a family member, especially if it's family. You hate to see people go through those things, but sometimes it's necessary, because sometimes some people, that's the only way they learn lessons, is by continuing to bump their head. And, they got to feel it. Some lessons people have to feel. We can talk about things all the time, but some lessons people got to feel. For example, I'm going to speak on me, because I love to speak on me, because I'm not perfect. I have plenty of flaws. So everything that I talk about, for the most part, is something that I can relate back to something in my personal life. So something for me, one of the things that I can tell you was a lesson that I had to, bump my head on, and that's love. I don't care how many the old heads in the hood try to tell you about love, how much my mom would try to tell me, or anybody would try to tell me about love. It's just like, nah, I feel like I got it. I know I got it. I know how to love, whoop de whoop. And then sure enough, my first relationship, that heartache right there, it's so crazy. Now I'm in my 30s. That happened like when I was 15, 16. And I can honestly say that I'm just now starting to heal from that heartache and that pain. But that's something that I had to go through. It was no amount of warnings, no amount of information, no amount of nothing that anybody else could have told me to make me feel like I knew, to make me feel like they knew. How can I word it? There was nothing that they could say to make me feel like I didn't know what I was talking about, or I didn't know what was going on, but it was something I had to go through. It was something I had to bump my head on because I felt like I knew. So some lessons you gotta feel. You gotta feel those lessons. You gotta feel the pain from that lesson. You gotta feel the hurt from that lesson. Sometimes you gotta feel the loneliness of everybody leaving you, and to realize, okay, maybe I am the problem. And if that's what needs to happen, then that's what needs to happen. Only thing that you can do as someone on the outside is recognize, okay, which one of your friends and family member, who is who. You know, who are the ones who just need a little tough love, need you to be honest with them, not coddle them, not baby them, but be honest with them about what it is that you're seeing, what it is that they've been doing, especially if you know them and they've been doing it for years. It's like, okay, this is being you, this is your pattern. Okay, it's time to start doing better. You know, I've been trying not to say anything, and that's not getting me anywhere. So let me just put it out there. And as a real friend, that's what you do. You just be honest with them, and they gonna take it how they take it. And sometimes that might put a pause on your friendship. That might, you know, send y'all down a spiral of, well, nah, I can't fool with you. You acting funny, you acting fake. And it's like, nah, I'm not acting funny, I'm not acting fake, I'm just being honest with you. You know, because I see you doing stuff that's starting to hurt you. It's starting to hurt your family. It's starting to hurt your career. And it's starting to hurt our friendship. And you know what I'm saying? I want to be honest with you and tell you, because what I don't want is for you to hit rock bottom and for you to be like, damn, where were all y'all? Where was these conversations? Why didn't nobody tell me anything? And so I try my best not to be that friend. I try my best to give it to you honestly and without being harsh. You know what I'm saying? Especially if this is our first time talking about it. Now, if it's something that we've talked about before, something that we've spoken about, and you keep doing it or you keep going back to it, then at some point I gotta be like, well, what else did you expect? Did you expect to go back to that same situation, do the same thing, and expect a different outcome? Because if you did, okay, at this point, who's the dummy? Or who's the one who's not making smart decisions? At some point, you got to take accountability and responsibility for your actions. So just depending on how many times we've had to have these conversations is going to change my approach. If it's the first time, then yeah, I'm more like trying to be like, you know, hey, I get it, calm, level headed. But if we've already had to have this conversation 2, 3, or more times, then it's like, okay, at this point, I don't even want to have to. Why are we still having this conversation? You know what the situation is over here. You know what it's going to be over here. So if you continue to go over here and you continue to get the same results, then okay, you clearly want these results. You clearly, that's what you want. And at that point, that's when I have to take a step back and I have to let you, as my friend, go through that. I have to let you continue to go over there, continue to get those results until at some point you get tired and you say, you know what, I need to change things. And so I say all of that to say, man, it takes patience. Not just patience for yourself, but patience for the people around you. We got to be patient with people. And again, I'm not saying be patient to the point of enabling. Sometimes patience does mean removing yourself from that situation. That's a form of patience. You got to remove yourself from that situation, from that person, from that environment that they're in, or things that they may be causing to happen. You have to remove yourself. You have to give them the patience and the space that they need to go through what they need to go through. But you also have to give yourself patience to when you're trying, especially when you're starting something new, when you're ending something that you've been in a relationship. Give yourself time. I feel like that's one of the most important things that you can do for yourself after ending a relationship is being patient with yourself when it comes to a new relationship. Give yourself time to digest everything that just happened, especially if it was a long term relationship. A lot of things were invested in. Give yourself time to heal. Give yourself some patience so that you can heal. Like when you jump straight into another relationship, you haven't healed from your past relationship. Now you bringing all that baggage and all of that trauma and drama into this relationship, and that's not fair because you're not giving this or your new relationship or yourself a real chance to be successful. So, man, if that's a space that you're in right now, fresh off of a breakup, and I get it, you're hurting, you're in pain. That's okay. That's normal. Go through that pain. Go through that anger. Go through that frustration. Go through that sorrow. Go through all of that. The pity, the self doubt, everything that you have to go through. Go through it and learn. But more importantly, learn those lessons that you need to learn. Learn how you can be a better partner. Learn how you can be better at communicating. Learn how you can be better at helping someone understand how to love you, because that's the most important thing that you can do going into a relationship is knowing yourself, so that way you know what you find acceptable, what you don't find acceptable. You can start telling someone how to love you, how to care for you, what your love languages are, what love looks and sounds like to you, so that way they can get a good idea of who you are as a person, so that way they know, can I live up to these standards? Can I meet her? Can I meet this person where they are? Or do I need someone more on my level? And that's okay. So when you understand you, you can also do the same thing with that person. Can I meet that person where they are right now? Where they are right now, where they're presenting themselves to me right now in this moment. Can I rise to that occasion? Can I lower myself to that occasion? Can I stay right where I am? Can I meet them where they are? And if the answer is no, when you know yourself, you can be honest with them. And it doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. You can let them know in a nice way, hey, this isn't going to work. You know, we're in two totally different spaces, which is a true statement. But when you don't know yourself, when you haven't given yourself time to self-reflect, you don't know where you are. So you might be getting into something that you don't even know you're not ready for, because this person is in a totally different space than where you are, but y'all are talking the same language. So, man, I say all of that to say, give yourself time. Give yourself enough patience to go through those stages of grief. I don't know them, but I don't know what the stages are, but go through those stages. And once you get through those stages, what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about that relationship? And start applying those things into your daily life. So you got to learn a lesson, but then you also got to start applying those lessons. And again, I'll use myself as an example. One of the things that I can say about myself is growing up without a father or a good father figure to look at. One of the things that I can say about myself is I understood the protect and provide aspect of what a man should do in a relationship. I understood it from a financial and a physical standpoint. Financial meaning, paying bills, things of that nature. And from a physical standpoint, making sure that she felt safe, making sure she felt safe physically. But what I never understood from the protection and providing standpoint was the emotional side of things, making sure I create a safe space where she could talk to me about her worries and her fears in me, in the relationship, making sure I provide a safe place and provide a place where her emotions feel protected. So for me, that's something that I'm working on, the emotional side of things, because that's something that I realize I lack in a major way. But so that's why I'm taking my time to help myself get to that point to where I can be a person who can provide and protect emotionally as long along with financially and physically. So so man, to wrap everything up, man, everything starts with you. So if you want to be successful, you want that business to succeed, you want to succeed personally, you want that successful relationship, you want whatever it is that you want, everything starts with you. You got to believe in yourself first. You have to believe in your dream first. You have to love yourself first. You have to do everything first before somebody else will come in and believe and love you. And plus you are worthy. You are worthy of that love that someone out there wants to give you, but you have to believe in yourself first, because even when someone wants to love you and is trying to love you, when you don't love yourself, you don't believe them. And they could be giving you all the signs of, no, I'm really here, I'm really trying, I really want this to work. But when you don't love yourself or you don't feel worthy, you won't believe a word that they're saying. So definitely happiness and happiness and peace definitely starts with you. And be patient with yourself. Like, no matter what you're going through, learn the lesson, apply it, and just get better from it. So that's it for today's episode. Wherever you're listening to me, please leave a review. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Man, y'all have a good day.